All right, Speed Robo. Let's tell them why we're here today with this brand new episode of
The
Let's
Let's
Do
Do
Speed,
Speed
the show,
show.
the show, the
Okay,
show,
that's
show Speed. Love this show.
me too.
This is my favorite show on the internet.
Um, it's not my favorite.
Wow, and you're in it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fair.
because you're in it.
That's a good. But this booty though,
Yeah, it's a
if you
great
guys
booty,
could see
but
this,
they can't see it.
that's fair.
They can't see it. So
Someday.
our
Just kidding.
episode today is going to be all about player interaction
Versus interruption.
versus interruption. Exactly
Gotcha.
like that. So, the first thing we should do is define what we mean by interaction versus interruption. So, an example, player interaction is when two players have card effects or actions, and one player is playing around those actions, and the player is playing around those play arounds, and you have an interesting strategic dynamic.
Player interruption is. Have you ever played? I think it's called Exploded Kittens. You're just playing cards. It's like nope, nope.
Yeah,
I love noping people,
exactly.
and you can do that in almost any game. If it may not be legal, but you can interrupt in most games.
Yes, and this is a fairly abstract concept, and the line between the two is very thin and gray,
Yeah.
but there are times where you're just like, wow, I guess I don't get to play the game today.
Yeah. It's. Card games are so conflicting in this aspect.
They
Like,
really are.
there's there's interaction and interruption. There's so many conflicting ways to look at this. Like any game. Okay, I'm gonna play this. In majority of games, the correct thing is it good?
Right.
Does it happen? Are you okay with me, my boss, letting me play these cards?
Right. During my own turn, no
During
less.
my turn, are you okay with this happening?
Exactly.
You can say, yeah, or no, give me a minute, I'm gonna look through my hand for 17 minutes, and
How
then say no.
How I described this in my series Exploring Card Game Design
Mm-hmm.
is
Great video, by the way.
Yeah, very fun series. I love making them. Is there's a scale of player interaction from very low to very high.
Mm-hmm.
So the game that I like to use as an example of very low player interaction is Hearthstone.
Yes.
When it's your turn, it is your turn.
Yeah. Which is nice.
There's times when it's nice, but I'm also sitting on the other side of the screen like, yeah, I guess I'm just watching this happen,
I
and
wish
there's
I could do
nothing
something.
I can do about it.
Now, I like that in some games, but you're right. In certain games where you can stretch the time for your turn as long as you want, because I only have to play something every 40 seconds to get
Mhm.
another 30 seconds on my clock. It's awful.
Right.
That's when I miss interruption.
Yeah.
At its peak.
Exactly. But a game that has very high player interaction is Magic the Gathering.
It's so awful.
There's basically no differentiation between turns.
So when you start Magic, if you go first or second, doesn't matter. If your opponent plays a blue island or a blue land of any sort, you just take a deep sigh and be like, I'm in it for a long haul here.
You basically don't have turns.
This is gonna suck. No, yeah,
it's
generally no.
always your opponent's turn.
Your opponent has decisiveness to do whatever they want.
Exactly.
A game of Magic against blue is, can I play this? No? Okay, go ahead. Take your turn.
Right. And that is, and so that, when the player interaction scale is that high, that's when you're hitting the point of, I'm annoyed now because my turn is being interrupted. It's my turn. I want to play the card game. Why can't I play the card
Magic
game?
with blue, I'd call interruption rather than interaction,
Yes.
because you're not interacting. There's no back and forth. You're not attacking and then blocking and then casting spells. You're just saying, no.
Right.
No, 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 no.
And even Hearthstone has an example of player interruption in the form of secrets.
Yeah.
It's not player interaction in any way, shape, or form because neither player has command over when that secret activates.
Yeah.
It just does, and it drops a big middle finger in the middle of the opponent's turn.
Yeah. Which...
Not fun.
No.
Just not fun.
Yeah, I like being able to control when I do stuff like
Right.
giving my opponent the middle finger.
Exactly.
I don't like it being random. And one exception, though, Duel Masters.
Right. Which, again, Duel Masters shield system does count as player interruption.
Yes.
Not player interaction because you don't have control over it, but you know who does
you
have
do
control?
have control over it.
The player whose shield is being broken doesn't, but the opponent does have control,
Fun fact:
you don't have to cast the break.
you don't have to cast the shield break.
Right, you don't have to cast the shield break.
But that's
you're
besides
going
the
to.
point. It's a
You're
free
going
spell.
to,
You're
yes.
doing it.
But the opponent actually does have control
Yeah.
over when the breaks activate to a certain degree because they can choose to slowly pick off the shields instead of just diving all in. And that element right there is player interaction.
Yes, which is
is
nice.
good. Now here's the game that I feel that has the best player interaction ever.
All right, Yahtzee. Wait, wrong one.
That's a dice game.
Oh yeah, no cards.
Right, it's a card game. We're talking shows about card games.
Right, card games.
Also speed.
Drugs.
No, it's not. Don't worry about it.
Show.
But back, not to get us back on track, but let's get back on track.
Yeah, track.
Oh
Forget it.
No, absolutely not, KB.
Drug.
So the game that I feel has the best player interaction is Card Fight Vanguard.
Okay.
Here's why. When it's your main phase, it's your main phase.
Mhm.
Your opponent cannot mess with it.
Yep.
When it's your battle phase, it's your battle phase. Your opponent cannot mess with it. But every time you declare an attack, your opponent gets a chance to play cards.
I do like that aspect of you get certain timings.
Yep.
But you can't interrupt full force.
Exactly.
Another game that has that, which may or may not be as well known, but Epic.
Yes,
there are only
Epic
certain
does.
times you can trigger during your opponent's turn and play events.
That is correct.
After they attack, after you block, and at the end of their turn before they pass turn.
Yes. Again, that's another system very similar to Card Fight Vanguard.
Yeah.
I chose Card Fight Vanguard because it is the more well-known game.
Yeah. I like Epic because it's got pretty art, as you see in my last video.
Yes. Go check out his Gen Con wrap-up video. It was really great. And actually, it summarized the entire Gen Con event fairly well in what was there, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me at least. For my personal opinion.
From his...
I didn't get a chance to try everything. It's only 4 days long.
Right,
not 50
you physically
people.
cannot. You physically cannot try everything at Gen Con. But what you saw, I really liked there.
Yeah.
So that's the gist of player interaction versus player interruption. Player interaction and examples of that are generally good. I actually want to flip the script because we've been talking about interruption in a negative light. I want to talk about one game that does player interruption perfectly and in a way that's fun.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Exactly.
What? More specifically,
Trap
Yu-Gi-Oh!
cards.
Speed Duels.
More specifically,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duels because modern Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of a mess.
Hot pile of fire.
I don't care for it.
I only play Gradles, and that's your fault, Internet. They're cool looking aliens.
Yeah, they are cool looking aliens.
Cute looking.
But Yu-Gi-Oh's trap card system is actually a perfect way to implement player interruption.
Yes.
Because in order to interrupt your opponent's turn, you have to have that card on the field. It's face down. Your opponent does not know what it is, but they do know it's there.
But they don't know when or how it will affect.
But they know that it will show up. Their turn will be interrupted at some point.
Or it won't.
It's
the fear of the unknown.
Exactly. But,
is it a trap?
But the sheer fact that you have to announce that you are interrupting your opponent ahead of time makes the interruption much more of
an offensive, I would say.
Right.
It's an offensive interruption.
It is, and I like that. And the other thing that I like is that you can also bluff your opponent. You could put jack shit face down.
Like Gradles.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
They don't do anything in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!
So, let us know in the comments below, what do you think? What's your favorite example of player interaction? What's your favorite example of player interruption? And tell us... That's a good interruption.
Yeah.
An interrupting cow. Knock, knock. Yeah, interrupting
I gotcha.
And, also, if you have a fun story of a time you got really mad because your turn was interrupted, I'd love to read that. How about you?
I've got one. I think it's Magic.
It's Magic. Of course it is.
So I used to play Standard a lot.
Yep.
But I had a blue-black zombie deck, and there was this guy that you could pay 2 blue, 2 black. Target opponent loses X life and mills X cards, where X is the number of zombies I have in play.
Mm-hmm.
So I just built up a horde of zombie tokens. I had like 12 out. They were at like 4. I was like, if you attack me, you will die on your attack phase. He said, I don't believe you. And I'm going to swing with my 12-12 with lifelink. I'm like, all right, in response, you die. He was like, can I attack someone else? I'm like, nope. You take 12 damage, and then I win the game from
Wow,
there. So
you interrupted his turn so hard, you interrupted his whole game.
Yeah, he lost. He did not play game 2.
Wow.
Yeah. It
Wow.
was pretty fun.
You interrupted his whole set.
Yeah, that's my strategy is to just interrupt players.
To just make them mad.
If you get them mad enough, they won't keep playing. And I have a lot of stories like that.
Honestly, I do too because
it's so easy. People are dumb.
You know, there are times where I just enjoy watching the light and hope fade from my opponent's eyes
God, it's so glorious.
as they realize that they never stood a chance against me in the first place. And I think that similarity is part of the reason why we're friends.
Seeing the hope and the thought of I might have a chance and be somebody in this world fall to the floor, and then you just step on it.
Just grind it in a little bit.
Grind it into the carpet.
We're not nice people, as it turns out.
I mean, we're friendly.
We're friendly.
But if you challenge us to a card game, I will eat your soul.
We will send you straight to the Shadow Realm.
That's for you, DJ. I still have your soul from high school. You're not going to hear this, but I do.
Yeah. And speaking of taking a trip to the Shadow Realm, we are actually going to take a trip right now and do our second segment of this video. So it's coming up right now.
All right, Cav Overlord fans, you nerds. Doing a deck tech. It's not my deck, but I'm doing it because this is what I do now. Deck techs for decks that I have no idea what's happening. So I'm going to read you the names. You're going to look them up yourself, or just trust my buddy Speed Robo that this is the best build of every deck ever because he knows what he's talking about. So here's the sleeves. They're pretty sleeves. Pretty cool. Prettier than your sleeves. All right, so here is Pure Gifter Alichi. Alice he. It's a boy. When he gets ridden upon, you draw a card. Pretty basic. All right, now we're going to go through this lineup of the bad cards again that are always shiny and draw a card, but these cards you're always going to draw in your opening hand or, for your draw turn. You're never going to get them when you really want them because that's how this game works sometimes. This is a heal. You know what heals do. They heal you. I hope you know what they do. This is a game. Oh, right, this is card fight still. This is a critical. Direct sign Persh. These all have tails and stuff, like sea folk, the little children with tails, the things of nightmares. More critical, more tails, more nightmares. It's all good though. Tails never been a bad thing unless you're a fox and you're flying through the air and you're player 2 and you never get to win the game. Here we go. Rainy Tear Steza. She likes it when it rains. She's that girl in that song about the girl that rains and drowns the whole world. That's her. Rainy Tear Steza with 2 Z's because she's super cool. Best of Best Isabella. More art. When placed, you Soul Blast 2 of your other rear guards, get 5. And if you have 5 rear guards, you draw. So yeah, you just fill up the board and make big. I think is the only logical way to describe it. Special Message Aurora with I don't think that's spelled right. I think they spelled it wrong, guys. So, hey, they spelled it wrong. There's supposed to be more A's. Anyways, when you play her, you draw a card and discard. And yep, okay, once per turn, something like that. It's good. It's free draw, and then you throw away those, those bad cards like this, or like this one. You just throw this away because no one needs that. And then you play 3 Sugary Lordling Revory. Anyways, when it attacks or boost, why would you attack with this? It's a 1-drop. You just boost. Just get rid of that. When it boosts, if your opponent called a total of 2 or more guards during this Guardians, okay, never mind. You might want to attack with it. It gets +10 if they guard. That nerds. Who would guard that? Idiots. Okay. Now we're on to the grade 2s. Or are we? It's a grade 1/2. That's all I don't want to read more, but its name is Choco Love Heart Liz. Choco Love Heart, you can figure out the rest. I'm not an English man here with words frame. Blue Silver Diva Broom. Brume. She's French now. She has a French accent and a tail that's made of France. During your opponent's turn, it gets stronger. That's really cool as a rear guard. When it hits a vanguard, you can draw a card. You want to draw cards because that's what games are about, and that's how you win. Masterly Cover Mine. You spelled this card wrong too. It's mine with one N. I wish they'd listen to me sometimes, but you use cold blast 1, sea blast, chill blast. Draw 2. Yeah. So draw 2 cards. That's always good. Return a card from your hand. Oh, that's bad. Shuffling. That's the worst. If you don't have a rear guard with the same name as your vanguard on rear, return. Oh, geez, no, yeah, no. That's why you play 2. Good call there. I don't know why he placed them, but he will know, and he'll tell you all about it. I won't. Graceful Prayer, Amy. Amy with an IE. When will you learn? It's a Y. It's a Y. Like, why is this a thing with the tails and the children? And why are you making children fight? This is so. Oh, when it attacks the vanguard, if you have 5, ooh, it gets even. It becomes 28 when you have 5 rear guards. That's awesome. So that's a grade 3. Forgot to mention we're in the grade 3s now. In this one, you have to play 2 shiny and 2 not shiny, or else it doesn't work. Full appeal. Full appeal furball. Yep, that's what it says. Full appeal furball. If you call it rear guard this turn, it gets 5. And once per turn, it gets 15. If you have 5 rear guards, draw a card. You cold blast 1. That I don't know what's happening, but you make a board. You draw a bunch of cards. You make a board big. You go. Hey, boom, boom, and then you just win. But that's my strategy. I usually have one guy in play. I'm gonna let someone else do this for a moment. Hold on. Take it over.
As you may have noticed, my deck build for Bermuda Triangle is completely different from the norm. There's not a single Melody card in it. Well, that's because I found Melody to be incredibly lackluster. You need to have a bunch of grade 3s in your deck, and you'll end up with a bunch of grade 3s in your hand that you can't guard with. And in Force 2 meta, that means you die very quickly. I built this deck as a sort of solution to it, and it can even be used as an effective budget build. It has a near identical power output to your average Melody lineup, draws far more cards, making it far stronger against board removal, especially since it does not require specific cards on the board, but merely any card you desire, and its extra draw power allows it to survive attacks, and its extra guard power in the deck helps with that as well. I recommend giving this deck a shot if you're interested in playing Bermuda Triangle on a budget. And would you like to do the outro?
Peace out, suckers. This is my video now.
It is his video now.
And my deck. Taking these home. You give those to me. These are mine now. You can't have them back.